Hi, this is Denise LaRosa, and you're listening to Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa, where moms get together to share our joys and challenges while also providing listeners with some invaluable resources and information on parenting. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, this show is about you, so please become an active participant by visiting www.denisenlarosa.com, liking my Facebook page, Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa, and follow me on Twitter at Denise LaRosa. Also, please enter for a chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card by signing up for my newsletter on the homepage of www.denisenlarosa.com. The winner will be announced on November 25th. Speaking of contests, please visit www.denisenlarosa.com to see who won my Thanksgiving family photo contest. The photos are also posted on the Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa Facebook page. Today's guest is such an incredible inspiration for me, and I'm sure you will be inspired by her as well. She is a wife, a mother, and entrepreneur who has accomplished so much, but continues to set goals for herself and aspire to become better and better each day. More importantly, she utilizes her platform to inspire others to reach new heights, both professionally and personally. I consider her one of my sisters in my journey of motherhood and entrepreneurship. Former WPXI news anchor Darieth Chisolm recently launched a new video podcast show, Hustle and Heart TV with Darieth Chisolm. The new show has a #1 rated top podcast status on iTunes with subscribers and viewers in several different countries. It's available on 5 different platforms: iTunes Video and Audio, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, and at www.hustleandhearttv.com. Darieth interviews inspiring and successful people, showcasing their strategies, rituals, and principles for success. Anyone looking to start, grow, or expand a business, dream, or passion should watch the weekly shows for motivation, guidance, and inspiration, plus practical tips, tools, and resources. In addition to over 20 years' experience as a television news anchor and reporter, Darieth brings her own experience as a business owner to her international audience. Darieth is in the top 1% of income earners with It Works Global. She owned and operated Full Body Fitness Club. Darieth is also a business coach, and she is set to release her first book, Hustle, Why Now is the Time to Unleash Your Passions, Turn Them into Profit, and Love Your Journey. Pre-sales for her first book are available in December 2014 on Amazon.com, just in time for the start of 2015. Darieth says, success in anything is hard work and hustle, passion and heart, commitment and sacrifice, trial and error, failure and triumph. Hustle and Heart TV and Hustle the book exposes these truths and pumps fresh ideas into the hearts and minds of her viewers, listeners, and readers. Darieth also says that she's fortunate to count herself a successful network marketer, but it didn't come easy. With her busy schedule, her other businesses, and her personal life being so demanding, she too needed course direction and motivation from others who are successful. That's why she started Hustle and Heart TV, so that she could pool the resources and mindsets of powerful people and then share this with others. She trusts that you will be inspired by their stories and encouraged to take action and make your dreams come true. Although Darieth's news career had been full of many outstanding awards and recognition, she says nothing makes her more excited than when she sees people dream big and go after those dreams. She loves watching people having huge breakthroughs and succeed. Entrepreneurs share a unique ability to be tough and have unwavering belief in themselves and their vision and goals. Darieth's recent entrepreneurial experiences were cultivated while working as a television news anchor for WPXI TV, the NBC affiliate in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Channel 11 News at 11 and 10 p.m. newscasts. She retired in September 2013. In September of 2011, Darieth opened Full Body Fitness Club, a unique fitness studio filled with special classes such as aerial yoga, pole dance, aerial silk dance, and Zumba. In May 2012, Darieth joined It Works Global and began distributing the Skinny Wraps, the ultimate body applicators, an in-home 45-minute treatment to tone, tighten, and firm any spot on your body. Darieth quickly realized how It Works Global could be the vehicle she was looking for to earn a sizable income working from home while helping others to start their It Works Global business. Darieth believes that network marketing allows so many people the opportunity to run a successful business without any previous experience and know-how. The tools, training, and systems are a proven formula that, when followed, helps people earn money and become successful. Within a year, Darieth grew her income to top 100 in the company. She now features other successful entrepreneurs, authors, artists, celebrities, and business owners on her video podcast show. You can subscribe subscribe to Hustle and Heart TV on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or watch and listen directly from her website at www.hustleandhearttv.com or www.dariethchisolm.com. I had the amazing opportunity to chat with Darieth about everything from her journey in motherhood to her latest ventures and upcoming projects. I know you will walk away from this Mom Talk both inspired and energized to bring hustle and heart to everything you do. Please take a listen to our conversation.
Darieth, I can't thank you enough for doing the show with me. I am a huge fan of your show, Hustle and Heart. I have not missed a single episode.
Oh, thank you so much. That means the world. It's when you're birthing something new, you're still like in those early days thinking, oh my God, is this being received the way that you want it to go? And with full intention, obviously, I'm looking for different episodes, but I really want to make sure that I touch people in a way that wants them to watch episodes over and over again. So I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, that's great. Well, you got it. And I'm actually in that same zone with you. I'm starting something new here, and it can be so frightening, but at the same time exciting. And you just have a wonderful platform that is inspiring to me and so many others who just along their journey, we could be just starting off, or maybe for people who have, been on this journey, they are reaching a level of frustration, or maybe you're just stagnant for whatever reason. And I just think your show just really just rejuvenates people and gives you hope and excitement.
Well, that's so great to hear, really. I love when people respond in such fashion, because that is my pure intent, is to do just that. So to know that you're getting that makes me feel even more charged. So thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you. And so I guess I'll start, since, my show is just, the whole basis of it is Mom Talk. So I guess from one mom to another, we all know you as, the television news anchor here in Pittsburgh. Now we know you as an entrepreneur, and you just have so many projects going on. But I guess my first question would be for you to take us back to the day you found out you were going to be a mom, and what has that journey been like for you?
That's a long way back. My son is now 18 years old, and, I often think, wow, that went so quick, but really 18 years has just been, a long time in my mind. And that, that first day that I found out I was pregnant, as you asked that question, I don't know. I think I was, I don't know that I was ready at that time to have a baby. I was actually still, my husband and I were engaged, and we knew we had wedding plans that were a little further out. But when I found out that I was pregnant, we decided to move them up so that I could get into my gown. And then, we really started planning. We were planning, the wedding and to spend life together and maybe have a baby in the future. But, babies come, and, you have to have your life prepared for that. So we immediately began earlier preparations for the wedding. We found a house that we moved into even before then, and started our life, with the intent of bringing this beautiful child into the world. I was, of course, really busy with my career at Channel 11, and my husband had just gotten started. He's a podiatrist, but he had just, started his practice about a year and a half prior to that when we'd first met. So we turned our lives around quickly and got ready to have this incredible boy that we now have, Trey.
Oh, that's awesome. And, motherhood just has a way of, there's no way to prepare for it, Darieth. I feel like, there's the people who, are planning ahead, and then, life happens. I feel like no matter how you walk into motherhood, you have no clue until it hits you.
No, you don't. And, they don't come with instructions as much as we can read a lot and, get advice from family and friends. You develop that instinct along the way. And, I do happen to believe that there are, some women who have a stronger sense of being a mom. They may have a stronger nurturing sense, but every woman who has a baby, we just figure it out. And because so many times it's an unconditional love, we come from that place first, and then we figure it out. And then we, as long as we know that we're loving and caring for our babies, we do what we need to do, and we'll learn what we need to learn. And, we forgive ourselves, sometimes for the mistakes that we make along the way. But, motherhood is such an exceptional journey, and I'm so glad, although I only have one child, that I've had the great opportunity to be his mom and to have him as a great son.
Yes, that's just amazing to hear and so inspiring, too. And speaking of both inspiration and your son, how did being a mom inspire you to make such a huge career shift? Because my show actually reaches beyond the Pittsburgh area, but those of us who live, in the Pittsburgh region are very familiar with you as being a television news anchor for Channel 11. And, look at you today. It is so inspiring how you made such a huge career shift, and I'm sure it was quite a risk that you took. Tell us how your son inspired you to do that.
Oh, he has been the pure inspiration for a lot of things that I have done as of late. I had 20-some years on the airways here in Pittsburgh as the main anchor at Channel 11. Loved my career, loved what I did. I actually, as part of my backstory, when Trey was 5, I left the station for a short period of time to spend time with him because I knew that, I wanted to spend as much time with him when he was a younger guy. So I quit and retired back then and spent 4 years with him at home while I ran a couple of smaller home-based businesses. And then, as Trey was getting a little bit older, the station approached me again and asked if I'd be interested in coming back to anchor after I quit and left. And we were able to create a schedule that worked for me that allowed me to have time in the evening so I could still see him. Because when you're anchoring the nightly shows, it's, you go in at 3, you come home at midnight, you don't see your family. And that was part of the reason why when he was 5, I decided I can't do this. I've got to be able to see my child now that he's going into elementary school. So, by the time he was 9 and the station came back and offered me an opportunity to return with some flexibility, I took it. I think at that point in my life, I knew I wasn't done with my television career, and if I could craft a life that gave me some balance, I chose to do that. And that was great. And, I was able to come home in the evening sometime, get dinner together, do homework, and head back to the studio and, do the 10 and the 11 o'clock news. And as he got older and he was more involved in more activities, then, I felt less guilty about, not spending as much time because he was out doing other things. But two things happened for me about 3.5 years ago. One was I got this urge to go back into business because I'm a true entrepreneur at spirit. And I decided to open a small fitness studio in Pittsburgh called Full Body Fitness Club. It's an aerial studio. It's very unique. We do a lot of different, aerial type classes, trapeze, lyra, silk dance, pole, a bunch of fun stuff. And
wow.
I poured a lot of energy and a lot of time into that because I knew the uniqueness would be interesting here. So I was able to try and balance that along with still working at the station. But then I knew I also needed to bring in additional revenue given the uniqueness of that. So I started another business with It Works Global and became, a network marketer with that business. That took off. It grew substantially, very quickly. It really afforded me the opportunity to not only make some extra money for the studio, but really to begin thinking about I could position myself to do this full-time and leave the studio if I got, my finances in order, which was a really brave thought because, I thought, well, do I just leave? Do I pursue this? But the thing that really, you asked me the question about how did I make that decision and how did my son inspire me? He was going into his senior year of high school. This was back in September last year. And that January 2013, I was working so much. I was just exhausted. I had no extra time. I was running 2 businesses, still working at the studio, at Channel 11, I should say. And I decided then something's got to change. I'm going to break if I don't figure it out. And more importantly, I'm going to miss Trey's senior year with him. I was already missing a lot of evenings because I was so busy now doing these other things, and I'd been missing his games. And I just wanted to spend as much time with him before he left to go off to college. So I set a very, intensive goal. I said, if I could match my income at Channel 11, I'll walk away. And I'll work from home, and I'll do this from home. And I'll never forget, in January of 2013, Trey picked me up from a trip. I got off the airplane. It was just that time where I knew I needed to decide and declare this for myself. And I looked at him and I said, Trey, I'm going to retire from Channel 11. I'm going to quit my job of 20 years, and I'm going to spend this senior year with you as much time as I can with you. And, he looked back at me and he said, Mom, would you do that for me? And I have to tell you, I started crying. I got this thing going in my belly where I was like, I had all this guilt that I hadn't up until this point, but then all of this fear that maybe I couldn't pull it off. And I looked back at him and I said, Trey, of course I will. You're my baby. Like, I love you. So a couple of things happened then. I mean, I just told this child that I was going to do something, and I had 9 months to do it. And, and it was a pretty big declaration. But because of that, and I say, you have to have a really big why in life. And for me, that became my why and my driving force. So I buckled down and worked even harder, in spite of the fact that I was already going in 15 different directions. And, I knew that I wanted to get the income to a certain point, and I wanted to do it in 9 months. I'm so proud to say that I actually beat my goal, and I got there by April. And, so in 4 months, I had really positioned myself with It Works Global to be at a certain financial point that I could afford to leave the station. And subsequently, I ended up staying through September because they needed to find a replacement, but I did it. And so that's a very long answer to your question, but that would be...
It's a perfect answer.
Yeah, he was my pure inspiration around that.
Oh, that's incredible. And it just gives me goosebumps. And you just touched on so many things, Darieth, that just stand out to me, in thinking about my own personal journey and the journeys that so many moms are experiencing. And you said a few key things. The one was your goal setting and declaring it, speaking it out loud, because a lot of us, I too am in this position. It's a slightly different story than yours, where I went from being employed to unemployed and now starting my own business. And so my why is also, my family, my girls. And I just love how you declared this goal, and you had a clear goal, and you didn't just keep it to yourself, because a lot of times I think in order to achieve, you need to be held accountable. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I do some goal setting and goal strategy setting with friends of mine, just doing some coaching as well as some mentorship even within my business, and I really enjoy coaching from that standpoint. And one of the first things that we look at is defining and declaring who you are and what you want, and when you're going to make that happen. Because without those three things, we can easily lose focus. We can decide that all of the hang-ups and bang-ups and other influences in our lives can pull us away from that. But the more clear we are, and we declare it, we define it, we put those three things into place, and then we have someone hold us accountable. You need that level of accountability. And whether it's a business partner, a spouse, a friend, many times it can be your children. I mean, if you look your children in the eye and you say, I'm going to do something, or you're going to have something, try not coming home delivering. You know what that's like.
Exactly.
So you do have to figure out who can hold me accountable. Can I be flexible in getting there? Oftentimes, what happens is maybe we don't get to where it is that we want to be, but if we don't set the agenda and we don't figure out ways to measure, monitor, adjust, and control on that course towards getting to the goal, then we lose the framework that keeps us on track. And we have to have it in place no matter what the goal is.
Yes, I love that. And it makes me think of those days because when you're starting anything, fresh and new from scratch, and you're just in that place where, there's, I'm sure there's like an ebb and flow to it. For you, even as successful as you are, Darieth, where, you have those days where you are hitting so many roadblocks and you get so frustrated. But, going back to that strong why, like you're saying, and the goal setting, it seems like it's really key and essential to your success.
It is definitely key and essential. And, we're always, I think that especially as entrepreneurs who are moms or just entrepreneurs in general, you're always creating. You always have to be thinking about what is the next thing. How can I either do something better or produce something else of value to market or give to the marketplace. And part of that is setting a goal around that. So if you decide as an entrepreneur that, you're going to write a book, and this book is going to be filled with great tangible information that changes people's lives, or it's a book about how to, sew, whatever it is, the point is now you're going to get this book out there. But in order to make that part happen, you have to set tangible goals in terms of when are you going to release it? Who is in the marketplace to receive it? All of those things are important because it's not the one goal is not just writing the book. There's subsequent goals along the way. Okay, now I want to sell X amount of copies. I want to be able to, go on a speaking tour with my book. So as entrepreneurs, we're always setting goals and always looking for new ways to create, and we should always be in that creative space. I'll tell you, I think that sometimes the challenge with that, at least for me, and this is me being very honest and authentic about it, but sometimes you can be so creative and have so many thoughts going that you get off course. You lose focus, and you tend to be going in lots of different directions, none of which are getting you, to the place that you want to be. So that framework that we talked about earlier, I think is very important to keeping you on track. And having someone to hold you accountability who can gently remind you, yeah, I know you think you want to do X, Y, Z, and that's fantastic, and I think that will be a great, tool to add, if you will, to your belt. But you said you were going to do this, so let's make sure that we stay on course to making this happen. People, you can find that balance through, as we said, accountability partners, spouses, kids, coaches. If you're fortunate enough or wise enough, I would say, to get a good coach or mentor who can help you along the way, that's always good as well.
Yes, I'm definitely going to tap into that, and we'll talk more about that later. But, boy, did you just describe me, Darieth. Like, I should have gotten my husband in on this conversation because that is me, where you have so many ideas and so many goals and these thoughts you just, on this creative journey. But then, just to really zero in and take it one thing at a time, one day, because those goals, they'll be there and in their own time. It's everything has its place in its own time. And speaking of one of your projects that is just so inspiring, Hustle and Heart TV, we have to talk about it because, like I said to you before, I have not missed a single episode. It's so inspiring, and it's so you. I love the hustle piece and the heart piece. So how did that come about along your journey? What brought you to Hustle and Heart TV?
It is my new baby. I love what I'm doing as part of this video podcast show. And the creation of it has just been a melding of all of those things that I am most passionate about. And the timeliness of this, I think, is great in that I know there are people, particularly entrepreneurs and small business owners, who are looking for inspiration from others who have been there, done that. And so as part of my goal with Hustle and Heart TV is to find inspiring, successful people and share their journey and their story. And I focus on 4 pillars, and that's leadership, leverage, lifestyle, and loving your journey. And I look for people who have exceeded in all of those areas, or maybe one of those areas. But I don't just limit it to, online entrepreneurs or, brick and mortar small business owners or authors. I try and make sure that we focus on all of those areas, as well as people who are maybe, philanthropists or community leaders, because it takes a level of leadership and that entrepreneurial spirit to move anything forward, and it really, I think, justifies the word hustle. No matter what we're doing in life, we're probably all working, pushing, grinding towards something, and I call that hustle. That's the part where you just, through hard work, sweat, and tears, you go after that passion, that thing that fuels you, and that's the hustle part of this. And heart really encompasses that word exactly. Like you love what it is that you're doing. You love the service that you're giving to people or the product that you're bringing to the world. The loving part is not just loving what you do, but loving the way that you are impacting the world in that. And those 2 words together, I think, describe how people become quite successful. Now, there are lots of other things that go into that, but those 2 things are tantamount to anyone's success. So the show, in terms of how I got to thinking about doing it, and it's interesting because, I quit TV, right? I got out of the industry a year ago, and there was really no intent to even consider it because I was happy, doing It Works and running Full Body. And a few months ago, I've often listen to podcasts, and I'm always looking for inspirational information or just something that really fuels me, whether I'm out walking or jogging or, in the car. And the thought occurred to me, gee, do a show. I mean, just why don't you do a show? And I didn't want it to be audio because I'd had all these years in TV. So I said, well, okay, well, then I'll do a video podcast. Now, I have to tell you, it's a whole lot easier to do audio. I mean, this is great that you and I can get on the phone, record it, and put it out there, right? Video takes a few more hop, skips, and jumps along the way. But I was prepared to do that because I had a goal. I had a mission to bring this quality of programming to the podcast community, but on a video platform. And video podcasting, by the way, is really, I think in the next year to 2 or 3 years, you're going to see a lot more video podcasts because video is really driving marketing these days. You know, through YouTube, through social media, more people are finding their voice and their presence through video than just audio, and certainly beyond pages or words on a page. So I said, just go down that path. Now, I had tons of experience on the other side of the camera, but none on the backside. None. So I spent months learning how to edit video, how to shoot with DSLR cameras, how to, find great music. And then you've got to put all of this stuff together, obviously, and then get it onto a directory so that it's available through the podcast directories. So much, over the last couple of months, I really just delved into this world of podcasting and needed to do that. But I was fine with it, and I knew that, if I could just get enough of it going, it would work. Now, the interesting thing is along the way, I also knew I needed to build a team, which brings me to a point that I think is really important for any working mom or any entrepreneur who's quite busy. You've got to have people around you who know the mission, who understand what's going on. And, I made a very important decision at the beginning of the year to hire an assistant, which I wish I would have done years prior to that. But I got over myself and got over these insecurities around bringing someone into my space or having to pay someone, and I just decided I can't do this all on my own. So I hired an assistant. And at the beginning of the year, I had no idea I was going to be doing a podcast. I mean, it was purely to help me with all of the other things that I have in place. But truly, without her, it's harder to think about because you need so many other people in the mix to make this happen. So that was in place. But then the learning how to edit and shoot got old fast. So
I can imagine.
So just get some photographers, find people who, that's what they're good at, which would give me the freedom to focus on being good at other things. So I now have a team of 2 photographers who are young and up and coming and excited about this. And now they get to shoot and edit, which is great because then I can focus on the other things. So we've put this little team together, and it's actually called Jump Fly Media, but it is it's what puts Hustle and Heart TV out on the podcast directories each week. And I'm excited about that. And all of that has taught me a lot. It really has. It's taught me a lot about deciding and declaring that you can move entirely out of your space, but also find yourself right smack in the intersection of what it is that allows you to live your passion. And what do I mean by that? Because this getting there, I went full circle. I got out of an industry to come back in through a back door, even though I'm not working at a station, but I'm using what I am most comfortable with, and that is my interview skills, talking with people, that platform, but then talking about what I'm most passionate about, and that's, of course, success, mastery, mindset, entrepreneurship, all of those things. And I'm doing it on a vehicle that I know in years to come will continue to grow. So it's a nice melding of all those things that make sense for my life right now.
Yes. I love that. And it's just, isn't it a blessing to be able to do what you love and what you are so passionate about? And it's something, Darieth, that I'm discovering that is achievable for everyone. You really, truly can live your passion. You can do what you're passionate about. It may take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, the hustle and the heart. But at the end of the day, if you really are passionate about something, you'll go full-fledged into it, and it can happen for you. You're just the epitome of that for me, and it's such an inspiration, and I just really value and appreciate what you're doing. And I think that, with this being a mom talk show, so many moms can gain so much from that. And, I just love how, you have the we have many sides to us, I guess, is what I'm thinking. You know, we're mothers, but at the same time, we're also still women on a journey that need to nurture our gifts and our talents, because we also have those to give to the world. So thank you for that. I just have to personally thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, and thank you for watching the episodes. We were talking earlier about what you're getting from them, and that is exactly my intent, was to produce 30-minute quality shows that people can come back to and watch and or listen to, because you don't have to watch them on iTunes video or on YouTube. It's on iTunes audio, on Stitcher Radio. You can just go to my website and listen to any episode. So it's simple, but if you can't take it in all in one sitting, you can always come back to it. It's always available for you. And it may be something that you heard from a guest that is just that nugget that makes a big change in your life, or allows you to better pursue your passion, or encourage you to continue to do that. And I just felt that for me, it was important to expose, or it is important to expose, people who can do this for others. Finding guests who I know their message will resonate with someone out there, because we all do, right? We never know, why someone has impacted someone else's life. That's why I choose to have such a variety of guests. But knowing that ultimately, at the end of the day, creating a program that offers that level of inspiration to people, at that point, I feel like my job's done. Like, I did it. That's great. I'm going to get out and do it again. Here comes another episode. Yeah. Here comes another episode. So.
Oh, that's great. I love that. And you know what's so funny, Darieth? As we're sitting here talking, I feel like your theme song could be "I'm Every Woman," because I'm just here Shaka Khan and Whitney Houston in my head right now, and I'm pumped, I'm excited, and I'm excited not just for me but for you too. And that brings me to my next question: what's next for you, Darieth?
Oh my goodness! So this thought around having this list of things to try, getting pulled away from them. We talked a little bit about that. I am diligently planning the new year now. I have been over the last couple of weeks, if you will, and I think it's important to get a scope and what's coming out and what's staying in and where I'm going. So I do have a list of a few things that I'm working on. One is obviously to continue to grow Hustle and Heart TV, to continue to find quality guests, grow the audience. I'm really happy that we've been #1 on iTunes video podcast we launched 10 weeks ago, so we're still there at #1. Sometimes we go down to #2. So that was one goal met. But ultimately, I want people to continue to find it, consume it, use it, and share it. So I'll continue to use that as one of my first areas of focus in terms of next, is to grow it, continue to find, advertisers and sponsors who are excited about being on the show, and obviously impact more people's lives. I am currently writing a book that I'm going away for 11 days on a cruise after I come back from a speaker series training. So during that time, I plan to finish this book, that in December I get it into the hands of a copy editor, and then ultimately have it published and available at the beginning of the year. And the book is called Hustle: Why Now is the Time to Unleash Your Passion, Turn It into Profit, and Love Your Journey. So it's essentially all the things that we just talked about, but a lot of other things, as well as including some incredible comments from some of the guests that I've interviewed through Hustle and Heart. So I want to get that finished and out. I'd like to use that as an opportunity to speak more often and find different opportunities to be in front of audiences, because I do enjoy speaking and doing some level of motivational speaking, and having the book as a platform to talk on is going to be important. So the book will be in place. I'll do a lot more speaking and some training. It's funny. I'm at this point where I'm considering doing some coaching and transformational coaching, and I may go through a year-long program. That would give me just some, an opportunity to train over the next year, with that being a longer range goal. But I'm considering that. I've been investigating a few different programs, and I'm open to receiving that if that is, in fact, the direction that I feel as though I should be led. So I'm considering that. And then I'm looking at a couple of, maybe online courses that some of them have already been written. Like I have pieces along the way. It would just be pulling those together, maybe finding a JV partner or someone to work with, and then roll those out as online courses to support people, probably in video marketing and in video podcasting. That's the direction I'm leaning in. But I know that, that would be more midterm of the year next year. So those are some of the aspirations that I have, and I'm excited about all of those things. In addition to, continuing to work with my It Works business and grow that and share those products and that business with others. I'm happy to say it's so interesting because on Friday, and your viewers, your listeners will be hearing this, I'm not sure when, but on Friday, October 31st, I am inking the sale of Full Body. So I'm actually in the process of selling it to two of my instructors, and I'm quite excited for them because they are aerialists and love the studio and the members there, and I knew that I wanted to pass the torch along to people who cared about the mission at Full Body and understood what we bring to the marketplace in terms of being a very unique aerial studio. So that is in full scope, and by Friday, they will have ownership of it. It gives me the extra space to do these things that I've been talking about. So that's where my life is headed.
Wow, that is so exciting, all of it. And you said something that really spoke to my spirit, and I know it will to my listeners as well, is being open. As I hear your plans and, we've had this whole conversation, I think sometimes that is yet another key piece is just being open to receiving, and for me, on the spiritual level, just being open to receiving whatever it is God has for you. Because I think so often we put ourselves in a box and we limit ourselves. And, I was a school teacher. I was a dancer first and I became a school teacher. And I think in the past I've put myself into these boxes. And it was almost when I was at this point where it was like the point of no return. I was sitting down, I was unemployed, and it came to me to be open to whatever God has planned for you. And it was very similar to what you're saying, bringing you back to a lot of those gifts and talents and experiences that you carried with you and had within you. So I just think for me personally, being on the outside looking in, Darieth, I think that's probably one of many of your greatest qualities, I think, is that you do come across as someone who is just open to what life has to offer you.
I think you have to be. I know you have to be. Life will offer a lot of things, good and bad, and we choose to allow the things that come into our life, especially those that we can't control, to impact us in either successful ways or non-successful ways. But if we don't remain open to all of the great opportunities that exist because we're fearful of accepting them, then we lock ourselves out. And then often we end up embracing and holding on to all the bad stuff, right? Because we think that we have to deal with it. And we push the good stuff away because the bad stuff deserves our attention now. Well, I think when you're really open to receive, you just allow the things that, are maybe naturally suited for you to come in and out of your life. Now, you don't necessarily have to choose all of those. But in knowing your passion and knowing your own talent and knowing your own gift, you can better examine the things that come in. But the first place starts with just being open to receive and trusting that, you're being divinely led and that God is giving you, those gifts as well as the opportunity to express those gifts. Now, it's then up to us to decide whether or not we're going to do it. But we have to be open first. And be courageous enough then to take the steps and the action that we need to make those things come to life.
Oh, that's incredible, and I couldn't agree with you more. So, like I said, I won't take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy lady, so I will leave you with one more question, and that is, what's one piece of advice and that's kind of a tough one to narrow it down to one, but if you can think of one piece of advice that you would have for moms today, what would that be?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to not be perfect, especially if you are a type A driven person who thinks that all of her ducks have got to be in order and everything needs to be in place. You'll never get off go. You got to be okay with making mistakes. You got to be okay with not being perfect. I'm not suggesting that you put things out there that don't make sense or that are shabby or non-respected, but when you know you've given it your all and you know you've done your best and you feel good about what you've done, put it out there. And I guess I'm speaking more specifically to moms who have businesses or goals or dreams that they're working to unleash, that you just start and you'll figure it out and it will improve. I mean, you'll find better ways to do something better, but you got to get started with this sense of, okay, I'm not perfect and I know I'm going to make some mistakes, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
Wow. Excellent, excellent, excellent advice. I love that. And that is just the perfect way, I think, to end this podcast episode. And I cannot, again, thank you enough for taking the time out with me and also for all that you're doing to inspire so many people, not just moms, but just everyone across the board. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, you're quite welcome, and I really appreciate being on your show. I love what you're doing, and you're standing in your truth, and you're helping so many other moms, and you're so expressive in doing that. And, you know, you're doing an amazing job right now. So continue that, and thank you for having the platform that you have.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to stay in touch with me by visiting www.DeniseLaRosa.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter, get some valuable mommy resources, and giveaways. You can also follow me on Twitter at Denise LaRosa, on Facebook, Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa, and or email me at DeniseLaRosa.com. You have been listening to Mom Talk with Denise LaRosa. I will leave you with this quote by Vishen Lakhiani. Don't be afraid to take risk, dream big, challenge yourself to the extreme limit, and experience miracles. If they scare you, always remember that you are more powerful than you think. The courage lies within you, so take that leap of faith. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more, please do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel or check out some more videos.